Some of my most memorable experiences were the ones that I wasn't even directly involved in. Like, it's just sometimes other things that I observe, you know. She gave so many shahadas to women. And I'm like, what is she saying? Because I thought my answers were more clever and witty and humorous, right? Just ikhlas and just her smile, just her wanting to be there. What that little incident tells me is that we might even provide a moral boost to Muslims who are just walking by. They come and they see that and they're like, wow, you know, I mean, you know, there's an Islamic presence right here on the square, you know.
No, I'm not worried at all. I rely on God, Allah.
What would you say has been your most memorable encounter or experience in the da'wah?
I think some of my most memorable experiences were the ones that I wasn't even directly involved in. Like, it's just sometimes other things that I observe, you know. So, for example, there was an Indonesian sister that was joining us for a couple of years, and her English skills were not very strong. So I didn't know is she going to be effective and is she going to be able to answer people's questions or not. But somehow her ikhlas, her sincerity, her smile, she gave out more materials than all of the rest of us. And I saw her talking to women. She gave so many shahadas to women. And I'm like, what is she saying? Because I thought my answers were more clever and witty and humorous, right? Just ikhlas and just her smile, just her wanting to be there. So that's one thing that, you know, affected me and humbled me. And then there's lots of other little stories over the years, you know. I'd have to, I mean, one is, for example, there was an Iranian family walking by us. The elderly woman in that group was just trailing behind them a little bit. And she walked by us, she saw my wife. And then she pulled her hijab back up on her head and walked by. What that little incident tells me is that we might even provide a moral boost to Muslims who are just walking by, who don't even necessarily stop to interact or exchange salams. But it's just a good presence. And I think, especially at Yangon Dundas, I think it's a symbolic presence as well too. Like, we're in the middle of the dunya, we're in the middle of the noise, we're in the middle of the music, in the middle of this very eccentric place, as you had described it earlier. But Islam is still relevant. It's still here. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that many tourists during the summer from the Gulf countries, from other Muslim countries, they come and they see that and they're like, wow, you know, I mean, you know, there's an Islamic presence right here on the square, you know.
That, I believe, is a really underrated effect. I remember at our dawah booths and universities, the people who would get the most motivated and the most effective as a whole would be Muslims. Many Muslims would just become, oh, you guys are having a lecture. And sometimes the interaction would be quite humorous. We had, I remember one of the dawah booths, it was a series of events that we had. The last event was a debate that we had organized, I think between one of our Muslim speakers and a Christian. And so we were selling tickets to that event, but to non-Muslims, we were giving it for free. This lady comes, she's like interacting, interested. Then, you know, the brother comes and he says, okay, you know what, just take this ticket, you know, come to this event. And so she takes the ticket, she leaves, and then she comes back and she's super offended. And it was like, why? Like, why are you so offended? She's like, I'm Muslim, and you didn't charge me for this ticket. You're supposed to charge me for this ticket. And he's like, telling me after, like, how am I supposed to know you're Muslim? I like, you know, because there's no identity, you know, she's not wearing hijab or anything like that. So it was this humorous interaction. But what we gathered from that is that here's somebody you could not tell that they're Muslim, but they're coming and they're actually somehow that sparks a pride. I'm Muslim. I need to pay for this. You know, I'm coming to this thing. You know what I mean? So I think we underestimate the effect that has on people, on boosting people, their iman, that we have this presence in the middle of this dunya type of setting.